April's not a great month for lunar mansions, and there are only a handful of talisman quality elections in each time zone. But the elections that we do have are pretty good, featuring a mixed bag of magical purposes like love and friendship, favor and glory, prosperity, causing things to end or transform, for a good harvest and hard workers, and other useful outcomes. Also made some changes to the format of the video this month, which I'll explain quickly in the intro. So stay tuned for that and info on all the Lunar Mansion elections for the month in just a moment. Welcome to the April 2023 Lunar Mansion Guide. I'm Nate, aka Postmugglism, and this is my channel. I've been putting out this monthly guide for almost a year and a half now, and I've learned a lot about making videos along the way. I've also launched a lot of other content like my weekly podcast, articles, deep dive videos, and other things, and I still aspire to do more. But this guide takes up the most time by far. So to open up some time for me to produce additional content, I've cut this video pretty drastically down to size, but I think that's a good thing. I was repeating a lot of the same mansion lore month after month as the same mansions appeared in multiple videos, and then having to edit all of that repetitive content as well. So I've eliminated all of that in favor of a much quicker guide that focuses on the astrology, the part that actually changes month to month, rather than the lore, meaning the myths and the historical reasoning behind each of the mansions, that gives them their unique qualities and such. In future months, I'll be putting out individual videos on each of the mansions that will contain the lore and other bits of information that are useful when planning rituals, but that don't change on a month-to-month basis. And the monthly video will then focus on the parts that do change, linking to the individual mansion videos for additional explanation on the lore and so on. So it'll all be in there eventually, but you'll just have to bear with me for a moment. If you want to work a Lunar Mansion election featured in this guide in the meantime and you need more information, just reach out to me personally at postmugglism@gmail.com or on Twitter as postmugglism. But the good news is, from now on, this video will be brief and to the point. Just the information that you need to understand how the astrology of the election will influence the magic that you're working in it. There isn't a preview section to this guide anymore for reasons that'll be obvious in a moment. So just remember that you can always skip ahead to the parts of the video that are most interesting to you using the links in the table of contents in the description below the video. And details for working in all the mansions are included in the presentation that goes along with this video. One slide for each mansion with all the relevant quotes and details after the list of the elections for the month in the front. The link to this presentation is also in the description below. Now, in the spirit of brevity, let's get right to it. As I mentioned, there's only a few lunar mansions with talisman quality elections this month, and in PST there are only 3, specifically on the 11th of April in the 21st lunar mansion, and then 2 different elections on the 28th of April in the 11th and 12th lunar mansions. The first, on the 11th of April, is bright and early in the morning, right around 5 a.m. in Los Angeles, where I pulled the PST chart from. The election is available for about 20 minutes and features a waning moon on the midheaven in Sagittarius, trine the powerful and hungry North Node and sextile Saturn as well. Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, is within 1 degree, or Cazimi, the Sun, together in Aries. This mansion is good for ending things, such as situations, partnerships, relationships, etc., and can also be employed more destructively. But the 21st mansion can also be used to stimulate transformations, or to hasten them, which is ending one way of being and beginning another. The trine to the North Node in this election suggests that the effect should be strong and come on quickly, but the sextile to Saturn may soften the shift a little by contributing some structural support. The ruler Jupiter affects the condition of the moon by adding an expansive and positive energy to the moon's natural dynamics. Since Jupiter is in Aries, it has a get shit done quality, and its conjunction with the Sun, which is exalted in Aries, adds buoyancy and good fortune, but is particularly aligned with spiritual transformations, given that Jupiter is in the heart of the Sun, conjunct within 1 degree. Choose your petitions wisely. This is, for all intents and purposes, a malefic mansion under a waning moon, so watch where you point the sharp end of this opportunity. Skipping all the way to the end of the month, April 28th has 2 elections in 2 different mansions, the 11th and 12th. A little after 12:30, the waxing moon conjoins the ascendant in Leo and trines Jupiter and sextiles Venus in the 11th lunar mansion. The moon in Leo is ruled by the Sun in Taurus, which is conjunct Mercury. This mansion is about glory, fame, honors from powerful people, and favor and profits from the same. It's a mansion that foretells the spoils of victory. With a waxing moon in this mansion, this is the perfect opportunity to make a talisman for getting noticed at work, or getting a promotion, for receiving favorable treatment from government officials, or winning a big contract. Both benefics have a positive aspect to the waxing moon in a mansion that is already exceedingly positive. So this is a really nice election with all good vibes, and it should guarantee that you receive the royal treatment. The moon is still trine Jupiter when she conjoins the midheaven, just after about 7:30 that evening, when she enters the 12th lunar mansion, which, under this waxing moon, is good for increasing a harvest and encouraging loyalty and steadfastness from anyone working under you. The trine to Jupiter with the moon on the midheaven expresses this expansive, beneficial quality in your persona. So I think this election is particularly nice for the purpose of making your employees or workers perform their duties well and encouraging teamwork. EST has the same few but quality elections as PST, one on the 11th and two on the 28th. On the 11th of April, very early in the morning, right around 5 a.m. in New York City where I pulled the EST chart, this election is available for almost 20 minutes and features a waning moon on the midheaven in Sagittarius, trine the powerful North Node, and sextile Saturn. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is within 1 degree, or cazimi, the sun, together in Aries. This mansion is good for ending things, such as situations, partnerships, relationships, and so on, and can also be employed destructively. But the 21st mansion can be used to create transformation as well, ending one thing to begin another. The trine to the North Node implies powerful effects, but the sextile to Saturn should reduce the resulting chaos. The moon's ruler, Jupiter, affects her condition with expansive and positive energy. Since Jupiter is in Aries, it has a get shit done quality, and its conjunction with the sun, which is exalted in Aries, is a fortunate boost. But I think may be best aligned with spiritual transformation, given that Jupiter is in the heart of the sun, conjunct within 1 degree. Be careful what you ask for with that trine to the North Node and this mansion's naturally intense energy, particularly under a waning moon, which makes it kind of a malefic election. At the end of the month, April 28th has 2 elections in the 11th lunar mansion. About 12:30 p.m., the waxing moon conjoins the ascendant in Leo and trines Jupiter and sextiles Venus in the 11th lunar mansion. The moon in Leo is ruled by the sun in Taurus, which is conjunct Mercury. This mansion is about glory, fame, honors from powerful people, and favor and profits from the same. This mansion has the energy of a victorious conqueror returning home. With a waxing moon in this mansion, this is the perfect opportunity to make a talisman for getting noticed at work, for getting a promotion, for receiving favorable treatment from a government official, or maybe winning a big contract. Both Jupiter and Venus are positively aligned to the waxing moon in a mansion that is also very positive. So this is a strong, benefic election with all-around good energy that will ensure that you receive the royal treatment you deserve. And at about 7:40 p.m., there's another opportunity in the same mansion and with the same configuration, except this time the moon is on the midheaven. Central Europe gets 4 elections across 2 different mansions, one at the beginning of the month and one near the very end. On the 3rd of April, around 4:30 p.m., and then later 11:30 p.m., the waxing moon in Virgo is trine Venus when she conjoins the ascendant in the afternoon and the midheaven close to midnight in the 13th lunar mansion. The 13th mansion has a decidedly sexual vibe and is said to relieve impotency, to create love and attraction, and to increase or grow other things like prosperity. The waxing moon and the trine with Venus in this mansion about sex and love is a really nice fit. The ruler of the moon is Mercury, seated in the 7th house of relationships in Aries, so fast-moving, stimulating relationships are likely to result. On the 28th, at the end of the month, there are 2 elections in the 11th lunar mansion. The first takes place around noon with the waxing moon on the ascendant and sextile Venus. The second occurs around 7:40 p.m. and adds a trine with Jupiter, making the later election significantly better than the earlier one. The 11th lunar mansion is about glory, fame, and honors from people in high places. This mansion is suitable for favor from authority workings and prosperity workings, such as seeking a promotion or getting a raise or getting approval from a government official and so on. AET has 4 talisman-worthy elections in April, the first of which occurs on the 11th of April in the 21st lunar mansion, good for endings, beginnings, and transformations. About 9 a.m. on the morning of the 11th, the waning moon conjoins the ascendant while trine the powerful North Node and sextile Saturn as well. The North Node adds intensity to the already sudden and potentially shocking energy of this mansion of transformation, but the sextile to Saturn should help to reduce the resulting chaos. Just after midnight on the 15th of April, the waning moon conjoins the ascendant in Aquarius while square Mercury in the 25th lunar mansion, which is good for protecting crops or damaging the crops or resources of others, taking revenge, and binding enemies to prevent them from doing something to you. As a malefic working, the typical rules are reversed, and we're looking for a waning moon, which we have, and malefic aspects to the moon, such as this square to Mercury, and the ruler of the moon is even one of the malefics. So, generally speaking, I personally prefer using benefic aspects in malefic mansions to soften their effects when I'm making protective talismans, which means that I would really recommend using this mansion for aggressive purposes only, if at all. It's a really good, bad election, if you need such a thing. A little later in the morning on the 15th, around 7 a.m., we get that benefic aspect in a malefic mansion scenario I was just describing, when the waning moon conjoins the midheaven while sextile Jupiter. The benefic sextile to Jupiter rules this out as an aggressively malefic mansion, but this is exactly the kind of watered-down aggression that I prefer in protective talismans. 2 days later on the 17th of the month, the waning moon enters the 27th lunar mansion in Pisces and provides 2 elections. First, when she conjoins the ascendant around 2:20 a.m. while trine Mars and sextile Mercury, and then later at almost 9 a.m. when she conjoins the midheaven, though she's only sextile Mercury at that time. The earlier election is obviously much stronger, featuring the trine to Mars, which would add drive and force of will to the election, though Mars is not at its strongest in Cancer, admittedly. The 27th lunar mansion relates to the constellation Pegasus and the story of the winged horse who carried the Greek hero Bellerophon to his many victories. Thus, the mansion is one of overcoming challenges and winning against the odds. Under a waning moon, it takes a bit of a malefic tone, but the benefic transits keep everything above board. So treat this like a victory talisman, but one where someone else has to be the loser in order for you to be the winner. That wraps up this new, much shorter lunar mansion guide for the month of April 2023. Thanks for watching. As I mentioned, this month didn't have a lot of elections, but the ones that it did have were pretty good. This new video format is definitely helping me save time, and if you'll be patient with me for another month or so, I'll have more Lunar Mansion videos to share with details on the lore and all the other aspects of working the magic of these mansions. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of the magical content that I'm putting out each month, from Lunar Mansion guides like this one, to my weekly podcast, and all the other videos that I'm producing. And remember that you can keep up with all my content, articles, videos, podcast episodes, and more on my website. And you can also sign up for my email newsletter there so that you see everything, regardless of what platform I'm putting it on. And that's at www.postmugglism.com. For anyone new to Lunar Mansions, I encourage you to check out the resources section and the back of the presentation that goes along with this video, which is linked in the description below the video. In it, I have links to great resources on Lunar Mansions, a video on how to perform a Lunar Mansion ritual end to end, and much more. If you have any questions about working Lunar Mansions or astrological magic in general, please feel free to reach out to me by email at postmugglism@gmail.com or on Twitter, where I'm also postmugglism. I love getting questions from viewers, so please don't hesitate. That's it for this video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.